This is Jim Sawyer for capitalismandcrisis.org. In this module, beloved zombies Robinson and Smith firm up roles as consultants to MiddleNet University's president. As Joan's attachment to her new job deepens, spontaneously she hums themes from the 1988 political conventions. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow versus don't worry, be happy. Adam, an 18th century traditionalist, finds Joan's new levity irritating, however. Recently, he even binge-watched 1970s era All in the Family episodes, fantasizing secretly how to inflict on Robinson an Archie Bunker-style "stifle yourself, Edith" outcome. Undaunted by Smith's chauvinistic impulses, Joan perseveres. Could it be, she muses, the culture wars were catching fire way back in the 1980s? Surely restructuring MBA education at MiddleNet or anywhere really won't get off the dime until first America's over-the-top culture conflict settles a bit. Where to start, the Cambridge professor wonders. One way to get at America's competing economic narratives would be to explore who caused the Great Recession 10 years ago. In our nation's capital, the term grabbing the third rail has also come to mean symbolically getting a lethal jolt from the power strip between tracks of the subway. Assessing responsibility for the Great Recession, Robinson concludes, is just such a loaded who's about to grab the third rail type of question. Next, she seizes on a blast from her past 2 years prior to her death. In 1981, the Englishwoman delivered the uninvited Tanner Lectures at Utah's flagship public university. That's when she encountered long-simmering conflict between her host institution and its privately sponsored counterpart, the religious university nearby. Now the zombie wonders, what might it take 4 decades later to broker peaceful coexistence between these two oft-seething cultures? If it could happen in Utah, then why not most anywhere? Unfazed, even with the task's enormity, Robinson dives in. Adam, she inflects, let's book passage immediately to Great Salty City. There we'll investigate the culture wars firsthand, she says, amid friction between Utah's two dominant universities, the secular Great Saltiness and the religious Great Truthiness. Geographically, you know, truthiness is just down the road, she chortles, 50 miles and some would say about 50 years from saltiness. Tragically, as they prepare to board, Adam freezes in the airport security line, triggered by a screener's thoughtless derision of his hairpiece. Smith has a flashback to loss of his cherished powdered wig in the Secret Service-fueled car chase down Constitution Avenue. Now his modish second-hand wig, worn 4 decades ago by a Seattle grunge rocker, leaves him feeling awkward and insecure. "Oh, just steady yourself," Joan admonishes as Smith is pulled out for another security pat-down. "You could even think of yourself as completely naked," she says. "That way, being a weird wig-wearing zombie really won't matter that much." Eventually, the duo settles into their seats amid banter about what they hope to accomplish at the Truthiness campus. Then, to pass time, Adam scans his favorite 18th century-like publication, the Wall Street Journal, and also checks U.S. News college rankings. "It's sort of weird," Adam says to Joan. "Both raters show truthiness ahead of saltiness. How possibly could they know, however, that one is better than the other? In one survey, indeed, truthiness won by a numerical factor of 2, and in the other by a factor of 3. Does the outcome mean anything, really?" As he puffs subconsciously on his unlit pipe next, Adam stumbles onto a galvanizing vision of the task ahead. Perhaps, he muses, the real challenge at truthiness and saltiness may be, ought to be, fostering civic virtue, fostering how to get along with one another regardless of whether one's other lives around the corner or on the other side of the planet. Hours later, as the zombies enter the Truthiness campus gates, Adam and Joan share a new experience. solicitation by missionaries, over and over, it seems, as the zombies advance across the well-manicured lawn. Each serial encounter concludes, they note, with a testimony that the bearer knows these things to be true. But how could they possibly know? Is there a difference, Robinson muses, here, there, anywhere, between knowing and believing? Indeed, might these testimonies be a bit like university ratings? That is, quite subjective and largely unverifiable? Later, as the sun sets over Utah Lake to the west, Adam and Joan ponder the day's events. Even beyond economics, they surmise, the key to tamping down all sorts of dysfunctional cultural conflicts runs first through civility, through the very meaning of citizenship within a particular community. Unwittingly, as he ponders, Adam reaches instinctively for his pipe, however, which thoughtlessly he packs and lights and then draws on deeply. What comes next at truthiness, he later reflects, turns out to be a surprise. Stay tuned.